What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Team Fish Nuggles YouTube channel. Before we get into Jimmy's interview, this is a deck list that he actually used to win states, and as you see, it is a Seismitoad Crobat deck. Now, I actually have never been over this deck before on my channel, but it's kind of the same concept as Lander. You have the Golbats, which puts 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon, and you have Crobat, which puts 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. And then, of course, instead of Landers, you have Seismitoad, which has Quake Punch, which does 30 damage, but your opponent can't play item cards, and you kind of manipulate the damage with Verbank, Laser, and Muscle Band, and you kind of get them to knock out have the poison get knocked out back into your turn, which is pretty neat. I ask him about the supporters like the AZ, Cinderlady, Zerose. Ask him which one was his favorite. Ask him why does he play Mewtwo. Of course, Super Scoop is really good in this deck because you can pick up not only your Crobats but your Seismitoad from getting knocked out. And besides that, I think the deck is pretty much straightforward. Let me just check one more time. Yeah, okay, that's all I really see. But I hope you enjoyed the interview and thanks for watching. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Nuggles YouTube channel. Today we're doing another States question and answer video with Jimmy. And Jimmy, where did you play at last weekend?
I played at Pennsylvania States up in
Okay.
Westchester.
Alright. So how'd you end up doing a Swiss?
Swiss, I had a 5-1-1 record. I won my first 2 games. I lost my round 3 to a really bad matchup. I tied round 5, and then I was able to win the last 2 and make top cut at 6 seed.
Okay, so what was the deck you lost to? You said it was a bad matchup, and what was the one that you tied to?
So I was playing Seismitoad Crobat, and the deck I lost to was a Mega Manectric Leafeon deck, and the deck was literally just Mega Manectric, like maybe 4-4 or 4-3, and like a 4-4 Leafeon, and I was able to win game 1, but I kind of donked him game 1, but during game 2 I kind of just was sitting there realizing that I was gonna lose. So I tried to take as much time game 2, but I mean, it was such a bad matchup. He had Rough Seas too. Like that was I actually found out this game that Rough Seas heals from everything. So I had I had all the stuff on the Manectrics, and he just healed all of it off. And it didn't end up being a huge deal, but yeah, it was a terrible matchup.
Yeah. So that's the one you lost?
Yes, I lost that one.
Okay. So what was the one that you tied to?
I tied against Bob Zhang, who's a player up from New York or New Jersey. I forget where he's from, but he was playing his Exeggutor deck.
Ooh. So
And if you guys don't know, Bob Zhang is the best Exeggutor player. Like he's been playing this deck for months. He knows exactly what he's doing with it. He has a really good list. So I was a little scared because my only non-water attacker is a Mewtwo, and against Eggs I want to be using Quaking Punch anyway because he has so many like hammers and things at his disposal. So game 1, I just remember the whole series I used a lot of Quaking Punch, but there came a point in game 1 where he realized the trade wasn't going favorably for him. Like I was hitting Quaking Punch with a Muscle Band, so I was doing 30 with resistance, but his blockade was only doing 20 because I Quaking Punched him before he could get a Silver Bangle or a Muscle Band down. So between 10 and 20, and then my Seismitoad would also have 180 HP, I could sit there and take out 1, maybe 2 Exeggutors, depending on when I started attacking. So Bob realized this, and he went in with Virizion. So I was actually able to play my supporters for a while. I was able to get through my deck. I got a few good Super Scoop Up heads. I think that's what's really good with this deck, is if you can just flip heads on Super Scoop Up. So I mean, I got really lucky game 1. Bob played really well, but it came right down to the end. Game 2, I was not so lucky. He got a really good start. I think I missed the Quaking Punch a few times. It was just brutal. I remember there was one turn where I Quaking Punched, and then I didn't really have anything in my hand, and he played a Team Flare Grunt on my active. So the next turn I missed the Quaking Punch, and then it all goes downhill from there once they can play trainers. And then game 3 we just didn't have enough time to finish because that matchup takes way too long.
That's true. Now, did he play a Genesect in his deck or not?
I do not think so. No, he did not play Genesect. I believe he played Lysander. Yeah, he didn't play Genesect.
Okay. Right. So you made it to the top 8. So what you played against top 8?
Top 8, I played against Frank Diaz with his Evil Tall Seismitoad deck. And going in, I didn't really know too much about the matchup. I assumed it would be kind of good, but also, I've played Evil Tall, which has got me most of my points this year. So I knew with Evil Tall you can never count it out. There's so many things that they can do.
That's true.
So game 1, I got my turn 2 Quaking Punch, which is great. I kind of just locked him out of trainers. Super scoop up heads when my first Toad was about to die. Yeah, the first game was kind of just Quaking Punch, and then game 2 was kind of more of the same. But Frank adapted to a different strategy. He actually decided to Quaking Punch me. Like the first game, his Seismitoads didn't really come out for whatever reason or another. But in game 2, he started to Quaking Punch me, so I actually made it a little difficult. But I was able to just trade the Quaking Punch war. Eventually, he only has 2 Toads, I have 4. So after a while, I won out. Yeah, it was close.
Okay, so now you're moving on to top 4. What'd you play against in that round?
I played against Dylan Bryan. He was playing Donphan with a 1/1 Primal Groudon.
Okay.
And actually, I played him in Swiss, and I beat him 2-1 in Swiss. But we only played like one legitimate game in Swiss because we both had bad starts, and then we had game 3. But this time we played 2. I don't know how legitimate they were, but I mean, I think it's a bad matchup for Donphan. I kind of just got early Quaking Punch, limited him. He didn't really get Robo Subs down, which would be a problem for me. He also didn't get his Silver Bangle and stuff down. His only supporter, I think, in one of the games was Karina, and against Seismitoad, Karina is really bad. So I kind of just I think it was either game 1 or I think it was game 1. No, it was game 2. He actually had an opportunity to come back. He had a Groudon active, and he was using the basic Groudon because he hadn't Primal Evolved. He was using Ripclaw, and so Ripclaw could take off my DCE. Now he had ended me the turn before, so I have like nothing in my hand, and he's threatening a flip to take off my DCE both turns. Unfortunately for him, he got tailed both times, and I was able to kill him. But I mean, he fought hard. Like I don't think it's a very good matchup for Donphan.
Now, did he did he ever get the Groudon, like Primal Groudon, up and going, or did he ever have opportunity to do that?
I believe he got it game 1, but as soon as I saw it, I only had 1 fighting on it. I just Lysander did active, and I kind of just hit it a few times. And well, with the Donphan, of course, no energy acceleration, no scramble switch, so I decided I would just pull it up when it was little and just hit it over and over again. And I eventually got it down before it posed a threat.
Okay. Now, do you think the games would have been different if he had actually Primal Evolved and you could have Lysandered up? Do you think you might have would have lost that matchup?
Oh, before I say this, I did Lysander up when it was a regular Groudon.
Oh yeah, I know.
You cannot Lysander with Primal Groudon, but I did. Yeah, just to clarify.
Okay.
But if Primal Groudon, one of our games in Swiss, I believe, it was game 2. He got the Primal Groudon going early, and it kind of just destroyed me. Like it is a huge threat, but yeah, if you can get that Primal Groudon online, there's not much I can do, especially like if you get it in clean. Like if you have Primal Evolve and you bring it up with a clean 240, like no bat damage or anything, it's really hard for me to deal with. Okay. So yeah, I think it might have gone a little differently.
Now, do you know if he played a 1/1 or was it like a 2/2?
It was a 1/1 line.
Okay. So, I wonder if the Donphan decks will start playing like a 2/2 Groudon if they focus on that. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah. Alright, so now you're on to the finals. Are you nervous in this time?
I was actually pretty relaxed going into the finals, but the problem was the other side of the bracket, the top 4 game, went on for a while. And it was the dreaded deck I lost to in Swiss. Manectric Leafeon was in top 4 against Jimmy O'Brien, who was playing Flareon. So I was a little scared. I was, I knew if I hit Manectric Leafeon, I would lose. Like, there was nothing I could do about it. And then on the other hand, you have Flareon, which I think is a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, it's almost like an auto.
So, yeah, well, Flareon wins. I get to play against Jimmy O'Brien in top 2. So, yeah, like you said, going in, I thought this was an auto win, but Jimmy O'Brien, he played so well.
Yeah.
Game 1 was not really close. I kind of just Quaking Punched. Game 2, I was winning by a lot, but what Jimmy did was he hip bumped my Seismitoad. So I had a few problems after that. The first problem was I couldn't draw Super Scoop Up. So I have to go into Hip Bump. My first Hip Bump was Tails, I believe. Yeah, Tails, so he can play trainers now. So it was a very, very good strategy by him. Now the second time, or one of the next times, I got a Super Scoop Up, but I got Tails. Like, I had been flipping pretty well the whole day, but I started to get Tails right when I needed it. Tails SSU, Tails Hip Bump. And then I found myself getting End, and he just kind of came back. I mean, it's from all the Quaking Punch earlier in the game, he had a lot of Pokemon to discard. Now playing trainers, he got a Flareon online, and next thing I know, it felt like I was about to win 2-0, and then the next thing I know, we're shuffling for Game 3, and I'm shaking my head. I'm just like, I can't believe it. Like, I surely thought I was going to lose after that, like, because all the momentum's on his side. So we play Game 3. Again, it's really intense. He gets a really good start Game 3 from what I remember. Early Leafeon and everything.
Yeah.
I'm able to kind of stay one prize ahead, which is very important because time gets called. And so I'm turn 2 of time. So I'm up 3 to 4 prizes. So I end him to 4, and then I Quaking Punch. And he has no response, so I won. And it was very intense. Jimmy played it really well. I was shocked at how close it was, honestly.
Okay, so how does it feel to win like a regionals and a states in the same year?
It feels pretty good. It's something like I won a lot of tournaments in seniors, and I never did that combination in seniors.
Yeah.
So it feels good. I'm looking ahead to the next tournaments. States. I really want to do well at nationals and worlds, but I mean, it feels good. It's definitely a good feeling.
That's right. All right. So about your deck, you talk about Super Scoop Up. If you had flipped, you talked about you got really lucky throughout the tournament. What if you got unlucky? Do you think you still would have won the tournament?
I don't know. There are definitely some times where the Super Scoop Up heads were very crucial. Like, I remember in my very last round, the win and in the game 1, I had 2 flips at the end of the game. My opponent was actually playing a Mewtwo, Crobat, Wobbuffet with 1 Chandelure EX, and what he did was he used the Eerie Glow, which burns and confuses my Seismitoad.
Yeah.
So I had 2 SSU flips at the end of the game to pick up Toad, and the first one was Tails, and the second one on the last turn I got Head.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, I think I might not have won if I didn't get as lucky, but part of the thing that made the deck so good was I played 4 Super Scoop Up, I had Lysander's Trump card, it also doesn't really count too much, but I had AZ, Pokemon Center Lady. I just had so many ways to get out of bad situations, and then with Trump card, I could find myself playing 6, 7, 8 Super Scoop Ups in a game.
That's true. All right.
So the odds go up the more you play them.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, in your list, you do play that one Mewtwo you're talking about. Was it ever useful, or was it kind of just like a dead card overall?
Mewtwo was good against the Crobat Mewtwo Wildfet deck that last round I was just talking about. I was able to get a good X-Ball. A lot of times when I saw Mewtwo, I just, it seemed tempting, but I would rather just Quaking Punch. And Quaking Punch is just such a strong attack.
Yeah.
And I figured, even if I get the kill with Mewtwo, I let up the lock. So, I mean, I don't know. I think there were a few times Mewtwo wasn't bad. It was just never, better than Seismitoad. That's how I felt about it.
Okay, that's true. Now, in your list, you play, a Xerosic.
Two Xerosic.
Yeah, 2 Xerosic, a Trump card, Pokemon Center, and AZ. Which one of those techie supporters was your favorite?
I'm a huge fan of Trump card. It's not really too techie, I think.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's a really good support. I felt like I always could get back resources whenever I wanted. But other than that, I think AZ wasn't bad. Xerosic was kind of hit or miss. It was there were times where it was good, and there were times where I just Ultra Balled it away. Center Lady was always good. Center Lady was actually a really good card, too. So if I had to pick, I would say Trump card, but then next, probably Center Lady.
Okay. Now, you did only play 2 water. Was that to try to, Grenade Hammer, or more for, to get rid, so you're not getting, if you get Head Ringer, do you have the 3rd energy to attach?
To be honest, the 2 waters were kind of just in there because, I felt like just 4 DC was enough energy. I liked the option to Grenade Hammer. I believe it won me a game. But when the 2 water actually came in really clutch was in my round 6, I played up against the Metal, and he was playing 2 Aegislash. So what I was able to do was attach both my waters to Toad and just Quaking Punch. so that was really good. Having the threat of Grenade Hammer is always good. Another energy to use Crobat. Skill Dive is a very good attack. Yeah, it was just kind of like a, I don't know. I kind of just put him in. Not really any reason. It's not a huge reason. Just so I don't have only 40C. I felt like 40C is just not enough energy.
Okay. Now, if you were to play the same tournament again, would you change anything in your list, or you think it's like everything's pretty solid as it is?
I think that's hard because like I don't. If I play against all the same matchups again, I don't know. I found 2-0-6 was definitely overkill. I think one would have done fine almost all the time. Other than that, I don't really know. I think I liked a lot of my card choices. Mewtwo, like Mewtwo didn't really do too much, but I feel like I would have just kept him in just in case. He's really good against like big Eviltalls and like big Eviltalls, big anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess he's good against Primals too. Going into the tournament, I thought there'd be a lot more Primal decks. So I thought Mewtwo would be good against that too. You could just get some good damage and set up a 2-shot.
Okay. Now, overall, what is your favorite matchup to play against with this deck?
My favorite matchup?
It's
a hard question. Well, if we're talking about like my favorite matchup, where like if I see it, I think I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
Then I feel like I do really good against fighting decks. Outside of fighting decks, let's see. My favorite matchup, I thought Flare Gun was actually a really fun matchup in the top 2 because of like if the Flare Gun player is really good and they know what they're doing, it can be a really close and like really dynamic game. So I mean, yeah, probably the Flare Gun was the most fun.
Okay. Now, what is your worst matchup overall?
My worst matchup, anything with Virizion in it. There were a few Virizion decks actually. I believe there were 3 in top 8, something like that. But I managed to avoid Virizion like the whole day, which was kind of a miracle. Exeggutor is not good. It's not a good matchup. Even though Toad does really good against Exeggutor, it's kind of just like they can go into other stuff like Virizion. Not being able to laser them is really annoying, and not being able to use your supporters. Like we talked about my most fun matchup. If I had to pick my least fun matchup, it would be Exeggutor because I just can't do anything. Like I can.
That's true.
It's so limiting.
Yeah. All right. So how many championship points do you have right now?
I have 404 championship points.
Woo! Now, are you going to any more states?
I am going to be at Maryland, which is in 2 days, and I'm going to be at Virginia the week after, which is my birthday. Which is kind of
party!
Yeah,
so maybe like birthday win number 2 or something. You know?
I hope so. I'm hoping to get it this weekend, but I mean,
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
So, for Maryland, are you gonna stick with Seismitoad, Crobat, or are you something else piquing your interest right now?
I'm working with a few other decks right now. I think Seismitoad Crobat is a really good deck. I don't know really how the meta is going to play out, but I'm going to keep it around. I haven't decided yet for sure, but I'm definitely going to keep it in my arsenal of decks.
Okay. Now, do you want to give any shout-outs to anybody or anything?
I don't like shouting out individual names because then people get mad. So I'm just going to shout out everyone from the DMV. Those who don't know, DC, Maryland, Virginia, it's the DMV. Everyone, who always supports me and helps me test, that kind of thing. Shout out to the tournament staff. They did a pretty good job of the tournament. Oh, I will shout out one name. Shout out to Doug Morrisoli for taking all the pictures. Always great to see the pictures of the event.
Yes.
Yeah, just all my friends who helped me. You guys know who you are. Like,
that way you don't forget anybody. I see what you did there.
Yeah, I don't like leaving people out.
Alright, man. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. If you guys subscribe to my man, Squeaky here, subscribe to Team Fish Knuckles. Got some great content and more coming out.
Yeah, thanks, man. And good luck at your tournament this weekend and next weekend.
Thank you.
Alright, happy early birthday.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Alrighty, bye.